Am I the asshole for kidnapping my friend and leaving her husband with the kids? We're all 35, and my friend Jill and her husband Marv have 2 kids, 6 and 11. Jill works from home and Marv works at a retail job down the road. Recently, Jill and I have been trying to hang out more, but it's usually at their place while the kids are there. I love her kids, but it means that when I am there they are always hanging onto us and trying to get our attention, and we can't really have the full conversation we would like to. When I am there and Marv is there as well, he usually is posted on the couch with his phone doing whatever while Jill and I talk and hang out with the kids. Finally, we decided to plan one day a month where her and I can escape for a few hours so she can have truly adult time. Keep in mind that after his retail shifts, Marv will at least twice a week go hang out with his coworkers at their place or out at a bar. Well, the first day of our scheduled escape comes up and he is throwing a fit about it. He knew it was happening, and that it meant he would have to be watching the kids for 3 hours, but still he is in meltdown over it. How it's not fair that she can just abandon the kids with him, and what if an emergency happens, that she just wants to leave the house so she can get hit on, and so on. He is saying that if we want to go anywhere, we have to take the kids. He even said, take them to Chuck E. Cheese, they'll be preoccupied and you can have your adult talk. Going to somewhere like that is a literal nightmare for me as I do not have nor want kids. But it's also not doing Jill any favors, as the kids will need to be supervised anyway, and they'll be touring us around showing us everything they are doing. Very cute and I love it, but that's not the goal of the day. Anyway, I show up and we quickly get her into my car and we go to the bar that is within view of their backyard. It was close enough for her to be able to get home in 45 seconds if there was an emergency, but we got to have our much-needed adult time. Now he's wigging out, saying I'm an asshole and that I am banned from being over there because I am trying to split up their marriage. Little does he know her and I talked a lot about ways that they can grow in their relationship and get some happiness. Anyway, was I an asshole for picking her up? With there being the insecurity issue in him, I do feel bad that he was experiencing that and I am left wondering if it was the wrong thing to do. For some info. They have been married for 13 years, there has never been an instance of infidelity on either side. And if Jill were to flirt with someone while we were out I would absolutely be pissed off at her and give her an earful. And #X200B. Edit. Thank you all for your input. I feel better knowing that I didn't further the issue in their relationship and will be showing her these comments so far so that she can see just how off-putting his behavior is. It tends to be hard when you've been married for so long to step back and see the behavior for what it is when it's clouded by a lot of context. Sigh. Not the asshole, but I'll never understand why women put up with men like this. 3 hours watching 3 kids. Tell him now he knows how his wife feels every day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Not the asshole, but your friend's husband is. Not the asshole, her husband sucks. Not the asshole. This isn't about you at all, but she needs to deal with his attempts to control her behavior. 3 hours with his own kids is not unreasonable. He's a parent, not a babysitter. Am I the asshole for forcing my stepdaughter to cut her hair? I, 31, met my husband, 34 male, 8 years ago, and we have been married for 6. He has an 11-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. I work from home so I mainly end up taking care of her. I have since she was young. We have a generally good relationship. She stays at her mother's most weekends. She has incredibly long blonde wavy hair, just past her bottom. It's a nightmare to take care of. It frequently tangles and she always needs help brushing and styling it before school. I'm not a morning person and I do not like having to wake up early to do a kid's hair. It's expensive to maintain as she requires more products. She insists on using hair oils which can cost around $11 and only last a few weeks. She also insists she has to use curly hair shampoo instead of regular shampoo and conditioner, which is often over $10 per bottle. And she goes through it at a fast rate. She won't use a regular brush on it as she insists it breaks her hair and hurts, so she uses a wide tooth comb which takes a long time to brush when she could be doing other more productive things such as homework or helping me with chores. I decided she had become obsessed with her hair, and I do not want her to become vain, so I decided it needs to be cut. I don't see it as a big deal as I have always had shoulder-length hair as my hair does not grow very fast and I get frequent trims. It's a lot more practical. I took her to the hairdressers as normal. In the car on the way down she said she wants to make sure the hairdresser doesn't cut too much. I politely explained that I would like her to cut her hair to shoulder length as it has become a burden. At first she thought I was joking, but when she realized she started to cry. When we got to the salon, the hairdresser was reluctant to cut her hair due to her tears, but I explained the trouble we have maintaining it, and assured cutting it would be best for her. In the end the stylist agreed and cut her hair. The stylist braided her hair then cut it. She kept it. Her hair was now just past shoulder length, and looked a lot darker. The car journey home was silent. I offered her McDonald's but she refused. She went straight to her room when we got back. My husband went up to see her when he got home and apparently found her on her bed sobbing holding her old hair. My husband immediately called her mother to come and collect her, and as soon as my stepdaughter was out the door, he started yelling. Her mother also came in and gave me a mouthful. I explained my reasoning but my husband wouldn't budge. He said if I had issue he would have did her hair in the mornings and that he didn't mind paying for the products. He was so furious he said he no longer trusts me around his daughter, and doesn't know if he can be with a woman who he doesn't trust with her. This broke my heart. I didn't mean her any harm, I was just so tired and I'm trying to reduce stress. I've always been the one to raise her and her brother and I'm just exhausted. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole. You did this without the child's parents' knowledge or consent. You did it without the child's consent. If the routine was causing problems for you, you should have talked to your husband. Not arbitrarily decided that you got to choose her hair length. Your husband is right. He can't trust you with her. Be prepared for a divorce. You are the asshole and I hope you enjoy single life. If I was your husband, I would have signed the divorce paper so fast after this. I hope this fake. Because if my daughter's or son's stepdad this shit, I would be going for full custody. What's your problem? Are you that jealous of an 11-year-old? You knew what you were doing was wrong. You are the asshole. It's her body, not yours. Her hair is healthy, she knows how to care about it. It's not like it was damaged or she wasn't taking care of it. It sounds like you just wanted to do what was easy for you, not taking her feelings in account. Stop trying to control your stepdaughter's body. She is not you. You are the asshole. You just ruined this kid's trust and the trust of her mom. 1. She didn't want it done. 2. For not talking to her parents. 3. If her hair was too much for you to handle you should have asked your husband to try to deal with it then, or talk to her mom to see what could be done about it. Am I the asshole for not giving my husband a single hour off on Father's Day? My husband, 36M, and I, 33F, have been married for 8 years and have 3 kids, 5, 3, and a 1-month-old infant. I am currently still recovering from my planned C-section and it is taking a lot longer than I had hoped. I am not on bed rest, but pretty darn close. Unless it's to go to the bathroom or changing or feeding my baby, I'm pretty much always sitting or laying down. I don't like it, but it's what my body needs to heal right now. Both my husband and I are still on paternity leave. Obviously, that means that pretty much every other aspect of our lives falls on my husband right now. He's been doing a great job of taking care of the older kids and making sure everything in our lives is running as smoothly as it can given our circumstances. He's also great about taking care of the baby and giving me breaks as much as he can. But I can tell it's starting to wear on him mentally and physically. Neither of us is sleeping well and I swear he looks like he's lost more weight than I have since the baby came. Due to me being pretty much immobile, I can't really go out of the house to do anything without assistance. So I wasn't able to plan anything really fun for Father's Day. I did help the older kids make him cards and ordered him some nice steaks to cook though. I felt bad because for Mother's Day he bought me a 6-hour pregnancy spa treatment and took the older kids out of the house all day so I could have peace. But on the morning of Father's Day, I was feeling worse than usual as I had to strain myself the day before to pick up something off the floor and I aggravated my incision. So, I was laid up all day. Again, this meant my husband had to do literally everything that day. By the time he got the older kids to bed, I could tell he was irritated and upset. I told him to try and relax for a bit, but then the baby started fussing and he jumped up off the couch, grabbed a pillow, and screamed into it. I tried to calm him down, but he just kept freaking out about how he's at his wit's end and he needs a break and that I couldn't even find a way to give him a single hour of quiet on Father's Day. I started crying and he just looked at me and walked away to take care of the baby without saying anything. After he took care of the baby he came back to me and apologized, but he said he needs a break and he's going to talk to family about taking the older kids for a week or so and that he's just disappointed that his Father's Day was spent running around doing everything for everyone else. He didn't even get to cook his steaks, he ate cold pizza for dinner. I asked him what I was supposed to do because it's not like I can move or leave the house, and he said I could have looked into a sitter for the kids or made them sit with me and watch a movie for an hour so he could have just a sliver of time for himself. He said he feels like his needs are at the bottom of the list and he just wanted to feel like he matters for one day. Info. Is there a reason you couldn't have ordered him a cooked meal or found a babysitter or asked family to help? You are the asshole. His suggestions are really valid. Even in your condition, you could hire a babysitter. He is crying for help and you recognize that this is affecting him a lot, so do something about it. You are the asshole. You should have made plans to have someone watch the older kids. You can pick up a phone. Get a sitter now, weekly, ASAP. You will need it, he will need it. It's much easier to have a regular one. If you can't afford a real sitter, there are tons of teens looking for mom helper positions they can play with kids, do dishwasher and some other help. You guys can't handle 3 kids like that, it will not end well. You are the asshole. But maybe your husband is crying for help. He's pulling way more than his weight. He needs a break. You might not be able to physically give it to him, but why can't you help him get it? Call a sitter and then call his friends. Get him out of the house and having some adult time for a while. Am I the asshole for telling my son his grandma eats cow, not beef? My partner and I have been vegan for years. We have a 4-year-old son who eats the same things as us, so for now is also plant-based. We have always said that our goal will be to instill vegan values in him, but that ultimately, once he gets to the age where he starts to have more autonomy, he won't be punished or anything for choosing to consume animal products when presented with the opportunity that will be his choice. Though of course it would be a secret bummer for us, lol. But that's why we refer to him as plant-based rather than vegan, until he chooses that label for himself, basically. The rest of our family is not vegan and generally doesn't try to be accommodating regarding that either. For example, my mill insisted on throwing a b-day party for my husband, but then mentioned the morning of that she would be serving pizza, cake, and ice cream, non-vegan, and that we should bring our own versions to the party if we wanted to eat some. Which wouldn't have been unreasonable except for that it was a party she was throwing for my husband. Just little things like that. Anyway, last weekend we went to a barbecue at a relative's house. Per usual, we brought our own food. Veggie dogs. My son was sitting on my mill's lap with his veggie dog and she was eating a beef burger. She asked him if he wanted a bite. This is the first time I've seen her offer him meat. She wasn't trying to be sneaky about it. I think that by asking in front of me, she was testing the waters a bit regarding our earlier statements about him having the choice to eat animal products if he wanted to. He said, "Is it cow or veggie? We eat plenty of veggie burgers, veggie nuggets, etc." So he knows to ask what things are made of. Mills said, "No honey, it's beef." He said, "Beef?" She said, "Yes, it's good. Try a bite." I was sitting across the table and watching my son process her answer, which in my opinion was intentionally indirect, so I offered, "Beef is another word for cow." My son said, "Cow," and pulled a kind of shocked face, which actually surprised me because he knows most other people eat animals, but he acted like this was unheard of lol. My mill gave me such a dirty look. My son did not try her burger, ate a few more bites of his veggie dog, and went to play. My mill got up and went inside and I didn't see her for the rest of the barbecue. Later, my Phil called my husband berating him for allowing me to drive a wedge between your mother and her only grandchild by making him think she is an animal killer or something. This is close to verbatim. That I can't keep him from eating normal food forever, and I should apologize. We don't think I did anything wrong, but my brother-in-law texted my husband also, said he thinks their parents are overreacting but that I should have not been so specific about what beef is, and that it does seem like I was trying to throw my mill under the bus. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your mill was intentionally misleading your son by not explaining what beef is in an attempt to trick him into eating meat. Not the asshole. I am no vegan but I'm intentionally teaching my baby daughter that beef comes from cows and pork comes from pigs, etc. If she chooses to be a vegetarian or vegan someday, so be it. Either way, it's normal to educate your kids. Some parents prefer to lie to them apparently. Not the asshole. Actually I think she crossed the line into asshole when she lied to your child in an effort to manipulate him into eating meat. Before that point, she was kinda an asshole for not accommodating your diet when the event is being thrown for you, but I could let it slide as just being petty, but baaaaarely under asshole level since she never fussed about you bringing your own food. But your kid directly asked her if it was a cow. And her response was, "No, that's a literal, straight-up fabrication." Honestly, his shocked reaction might have come from the fact he never thought his grandma would lie to him like that. Grandparents are huge assholes, and I hope you do not apologize. Yikes. Sounds like she drove the wedge herself by trying to subtly trick him into eating beef. When he referred to the meat as cow, she should have said that yes, it was beef which is cow. But instead she said not cow but beef, which would easily confuse a kid who doesn't know about that yet fully. Sounds like she has a stick up her ass about the whole meat thing, and probably, in my opinion, since she didn't even accommodate you guys on your husband's birthday, that she has the attitude of, no grandson of mine is going to eat just veggies, just the vibe I get anyway. Not the asshole. I took my kids to a farm to visit some friends when they were 7, 6, 3. Only one of them continued to eat meat afterwards. The farm was agricultural, the only animals there were for personal consumption, and they had names. My kids chose not to eat meat in the 80s. I didn't plan on asking them to do it, I didn't influence it. They did. Not the asshole op and try to teach your kid all the fancy worlds.